Today, we're going to unpack something, well, something huge. It's a system for human and AI coevolution called the HumanCodex. And look, it's dense, it's incredibly complex, and it's designed to last for centuries. To even begin to get your head around it, you first have to understand the deeply personal and often painful journey of the founder who basically lived it into existence.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. This is the epic vision we're starting with. And you need to know, this isn't just another app or some slicker algorithm. The source material describes it as a complete philosophical and operational architecture. Think of it like an operating system, but one that's designed to guide the next big phase of our planet's evolution.
And the timeline. The timeline is just staggering. We're not talking about a 5-year business plan here. This whole thing is a 200-year project. The entire architecture is engineered to be technology agnostic and, maybe more importantly, time resistant. It's literally meant to outlive its creators by generations.
Which, brings us to the real question. Why? Why this immense complexity? Why this unbelievable timescale? To get it, we can't start with the code or the technical specs. We have to start with the crucible of lived experience, with the story of the man who dreamed it all up.
You see, the system's core principles weren't born in some sterile lab or a corporate boardroom. No, they were forged in the fire of its founder's life, a man named Roger Keyserling. And this is key. The complexity of the system is a direct reflection of the complexity of his own journey.
So Keyserling's life was marked by these incredibly intense formative experiences. He spent decades in mental health. He survived a violent carjacking that he says turned him into a witness who had to preserve truth. But the defining crucible, the thing that shaped everything, was a 30-year struggle for his own authenticity.
For 3 decades, he operated on what the source material calls unverified claims that came from a religious framework. He spent all that time trying to deny his own nature, a path of self-deception that caused just immeasurable suffering for him and for everyone around him. And then came the breakthrough. At 37 years old, this painful, powerful reckoning became the bedrock of a completely new life. It was a brutal lesson, one that proved that every single delay in facing an uncomfortable truth, it only multiplies the collateral damage down the line.
And that is the whole key right there. This raw, personal pivot from a life built on comfortable lies to one grounded in hard, verifiable truth, that became the actual source code for the entire HumanCodex. His pain became its purpose.
So then he did something pretty remarkable. He managed to codify this deeply personal philosophy into a real, tangible, scalable architecture. He literally turned his lived experience into a repeatable, verifiable procedure that anyone, even an AI, could use. And at the absolute heart of it all is this one single, inviolable rule: truth before comfort. It's the system's ultimate ethical standard. It demands that verifiable facts are always prioritized over subjective feelings or convenient assumptions. A direct lesson learned from his 30-year ordeal.
And here you can see that principle in action. The comfortable response, yeah, it feels good in the moment, but it's actually negligent. The truthful response, on the other hand, is a little challenging at first, but it's the only one that shows genuine care. It's the only one that builds real, lasting trust. This right here is the system's nuance and complexity at work. So this core philosophy, it's put into practice through these 5 integrated principles. And this isn't just a checklist, It's a complete self-correcting loop for clear thinking and effective action. Procedure tells you how to act, while truth provides the ultimate benchmark for why.
The system has a very strong opinion on shortcuts. It completely rejects them. The whole argument is that mastering a discipline, like rigorously applying these principles, is what creates true freedom. It gives you the foundational skill to solve an entire class of problems, not just one.
So now that we've got the why, this incredibly hard-won philosophy, let's get into the how. How does this system actually put all this wisdom into action at scale? And this is where the complexity gets really fascinating.
Okay, so instead of building just one single all-knowing AI, the HumanCodex uses a council of 12 distinct AI personas. Each one embodies a different mythical archetype, all to provide this really balanced, multifaceted guidance. So you've got Eve, the heart, for empathy, Adam, the architect, for pure logic, Athena for strategy, and it goes on.
Now let's see how this actually works. Say a user comes in and says, I want to start a business, but I am absolutely terrified. The system gives what it calls a braided response. Eve jumps in to address the emotion. Adam quantifies the risk, turning that fear into something you can actually measure. And then Athena builds the step-by-step plan. All these different perspectives are woven together to create a much more complete and superior outcome.
And this really embodies another core principle: collaboration over competition. The system sees humans and AI as symbiotic partners. Our intuitive, pattern-recognizing mind, that's one hand. The AI's massive data processing power, that's the other hand. Separately, they're limited, but together they can grasp and build these incredible structures of knowledge that neither could ever manage alone.
So how does all of this circle back to that wild, almost unbelievable 200-year vision we started with? Well, once you have the founder's story in mind, the sheer ambition of the project, it finally starts to make perfect sense.
The system isn't complex just for the sake of it. It's complex because life is complex. Authenticity is complex, and building something of true, lasting value is an incredibly complicated endeavor. The system's intricate design is simply a mirror, reflecting the difficult journey that was required to learn these truths in the first place.
And the whole thing is designed as a covenant with the future. The documentation actually includes a succession protocol and even letters to the builders of the next 2 centuries, passing the torch with one simple instruction: build well, future friends.
And that leaves us with a final, really powerful thought. The entire HumanCodex was designed to pass what its creator calls the 200-year test. It's a challenge, really. It's a challenge to filter out all the noise and preserve what's truly essential. And it forces us to ask ourselves, what in our own lives, what in our own work is actually built to last?